Pair of temples, over 1,000 years old, hidden in plain sight near Udaipur, Rajasthan, called Sas Bahu Temples, but they weren't made for a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Covered in intricate carvings, lost in time and misnamed through legend, not history. These temples tell a story of spiritual design, celestial geometry, and silent disappearance. Welcome to the Sas Bahu Temples, where the names mislead but the stones remember everything. Located near the banks of Lake Badi, just outside Udaipur city in Rajasthan, the Sas Bahu Temples are two intricately carved Hindu temples from the 10th century CE. Today they sit quietly under the open sky, largely ignored by crowds yet filled with architectural brilliance that rivals any grand monument.
These temples were built around the year 999 CE by King Mahipala of the Kutchapahata dynasty, rulers of the Nagda region. The larger temple, dedicated to Vishnu, came first. The smaller one followed shortly after, likely built for another consort or for local worshippers. Together, they stood not as Sas, mother-in-law, and Bahu, daughter-in-law, but as spiritual twins, representing harmony and diversity. Though often linked to local folk tales of royal families and marital drama, these temples were actually religious centers, dedicated to Lord Vishnu in his Sahastrabahu, thousand-armed form. Sahastrabahu eventually became simplified in pronunciation, turning into Sas Bahu, and the myth took over the name. The story shifted from god to gossip, but the architecture kept the divine intact. The larger temple, the so-called Sas, is a marvel of early Rajput architecture. It has a multi-tiered shikara, intricately carved pillars, and walls adorned with celestial dancers, gods, animals, and floral patterns. The smaller temple, the Bahu, is slightly simpler, but still rich in symbolism. Both temples are built on a raised platform, aligned with cosmic directions. Their placement reflects Vastu principles and solar geometry, showing how design and divinity once walked hand in hand. Look closely and you'll find symmetrical patterns of the universe carved into pillars, depictions of Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, and scenes from epics, mythical creatures like Makaras and Yakshas acting as divine guardians. Like many ancient temples of North India, the Sas Bahu complex was damaged during invasions, possibly during the 13th or 14th century, as Muslim armies swept across Rajputana. The temples weren't destroyed completely, but their shikaras collapsed, idols were broken, and rituals ceased. Over time, the region's capital shifted, and these temples were left behind. A sacred site turned into a forgotten ruin. The site is not a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but is protected under the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI. Restoration work has kept the core structure safe, but much of its original glory, sculptures, artwork, and carvings, have been lost or worn away. Still, the remaining walls and pillars tell more than enough to stir the imagination. How to reach? Just 20 to 25 kilometers from Udaipur, best reached by cab or private car. Best time to visit? October to March, cooler months. Entry fee? Free, open to public, under ASI. Early mornings offer peace and great photography light. These temples weren't built for a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. They were built for the soul and the cosmos. Carved by hands that believed God lived in geometry, and worship happened not just through prayer, but through design. If stories like this move you, like, share, and subscribe to Era Uncover. And if you want us to cover a site you know, comment below, and we will.